Philippine city volunteers continue work for relief program to clean up the disaster area. A wrestling coach dedicates himself to nurturing young students and national team members. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, city volunteers continue work for relief programs in Marikina. Among the people who came to work, many of them were the victims of Typhoon Ketsana 11 years ago. Their previous experience helps them with their common goal of cleaning up their homes.
It has already been a few days since the typhoon swept through the area, and the streets are still a mess. Although the government has sped up the cleaning process, the amount of rubbish is still too much.
We need to clean this up quickly because it is starting to emit a foul odor.
Due to the floodwaters, all the items and furniture in our house are full of mud, and the streets are covered with rubbish.
Tzu Chi volunteers have sent out 4 payloaders and dump trucks to assist with the cleanup work. They also head over to Nangka High School to help clean up. Inside the gymnasium, muds are everywhere. Everyone worked together to clean it up. Among the people, many of them experienced the devastation of Typhoon Ketsana 11 years ago. Although they were affected by the typhoon this time around, they only think of how they are able to help with the cleanup work.
When the heavy rain came, I placed this uniform at the highest place in my house, so that when Tzu Chi comes, I can head out to help with the aftermath. I'm ready to head out immediately.
Reciprocation of love continues as one of the volunteers even received a donation of $125 from a local resident. A friend of mine weaves baskets for a living. She passes to me her profits and told me that she wants to donate and help those who are affected by the recent typhoon. She is very willing to give. Her actions truly touch my heart. For the 38 volunteers who participated in the Work for Relief campaign, each of them will receive $20. Besides cleaning their homes, they are also using their own efforts to stand up once again.
Volunteers from the Central District Tzu Cheng Faith Corps gather for a warm meeting with the master. Many senior members talk about the past, from the first language performance, cooking hot food in the kitchen, to participating in disaster relief missions.
In the master's reception room, the senior members of the Central District Tzu Cheng team gathered together. They chatted about the past, from the first sign language performance in 1995 to the male members putting on aprons to be the kitchen volunteers. There were many good memories along the way.
The Tzu Cheng team volunteered at the kitchen amazed everyone. It also drove many people to start going vegetarian.
Hong Wu-zhen was the first batch of Tzu Cheng team members in the Central District. When he was young, he was ignorant and was once walked on the margins of society. Later, he joined the Tzu Chi family and devoted himself. Taking the lead to build refrigerated houses for many times, the Tzu Cheng team always stand on the front line of rescue whenever there are major disasters.
The moving cage to the disaster area, and there was no path. We had to touch the mountain wall to move forward. When we arrived at Shenmu village, the affected residents were very happy to see us, as if seeing hope.
Whether it's a storm or a fire, they comfort the affected residents and cook hot food, providing assistance whenever necessary.
一旦有事的时候，挺起胸来，大家呢和和互协，牵手连结起来，那个力量是多大的，所以我们的精神真的要延续下去。所以想咱的过去啦，都爱为咱未来的子子孙孙想啦。
Looking at the precious photo and listening to the stories of the senior volunteers, the Central District Tzu Cheng team passed on a spirit of love and companionship, continuing the mission of doing good deeds.
The Taichung Tanzi Recycling Station and Xingtian Recycling Station both serve more than one function. Not only do they look after the recycling, but also host study clubs to purify people's minds.
Taichung's Tanzi Recycling Station has 150 to 200 devoted volunteers coming every week. They not only work on behalf of the earth, but some volunteers such as Wang Chou grasp every second to dedicate themselves.
I worry that it's too late. I'm just afraid that it's too late, so I'll try to work quickly.
Volunteers shared their experiences and talked about how a study group at the recycling station has helped them a lot.
While purifying the earth, we can also grow wiser.
The Xindian recycling station is also a big family full of love and warmth.
We all come from different families with different habits and customs, but we all like to do the same thing. This is something that benefits all sentient beings.
Coming from different backgrounds and different careers does not mean that they cannot move forward for the same goal, which is doing more work at this recycling station can garner more blessings.
A total of 3 sessions of Tzu Chi volunteer certification and year-end blessing ceremony in Taoyuan District were held in Jingsi Hall. More than 1,900 volunteers participated in the Tzu Chi adaptation.
At the year-end blessing ceremonies for the certified volunteers of Taoyuan District, everyone, either on stage or off stage, performed the Tzu Chi adaptation. They also practiced the Tzu Chi in daily life.
Because he has a stroke before which affected his hands, he has no strength in his hands and feet. When he got these things, he was very, very touched. So it fits well with our current sutra.
For 2 consecutive days in Taoyuan District, more than 1,900 people participated and 110 Tzu Chi commissioners were certified.
Our family is not a Tzu Chi family. I hope I can impress my family, let them know Tzu Chi better.
The year-end blessing ceremony is held once a year. Even members of the Tzu Chi Police Association also attended.
I hope through the praying in the year-end blessing ceremony, the pandemic in the entire world can be eliminated and all of us are safe.
It's good to uphold the heart of compassion and joy and integrate it into work.
82-year-old Guo Huang Baozhu, after her husband passed away, Tzu Chi became her home. She donated all her own to fulfill her wish to help others.
When I see the floods in China, I was heartbreaking and shed tears. I, being an elder, won't need so much money.
This year, Zheng Meizhu helped 10 family members to become Tzu Chi honorary board members, taking doing good deeds as the family heirloom.
It's time to plant the seeds of goodness for them, hoping that someday the good seeds will germinate and they'll be able to walk the Bodhisattva path together.
The whole family agrees with Tzu Chi spirit very much because it practices the Dharma in the world with actions and brings practical help to those in need.
When the participants left the venue, they made donation to the Bamboo Cone Bank for the typhoon-affected residents in the Philippines, taking the first step to help those in need.
Huang Junsheng, the wrestling coach of an elementary school in Jiayi, was once the 5-time gold medalist in the national wrestling competition. He stayed in his hometown in Jiayi to cultivate young students and many national team members for more than a decade. In fact, Huang values moral education more than competition results.
再来，可以，要切进去，金牌的窝。怎么会有垃圾桶在房间里面的问题？好，我不想再看了。他住在我们家，训练也方便，然后管理也方便。我觉得这是可以陪伴他们一起长大。
Just after school, these pupils do not leave the campus, but instead carry their school bags into the basement.
来，我们一定是要求他们先功课先做好。
This after-school program is free, and if you are hungry, there'll be some snacks later. If you don't understand homework, you will be helped by the teacher.
你功课还没写啊？为什么？剩几题？
the outside world is still discussing mixed-age education, Huang Junsheng has already started to implement it. He's very busy, but this is actually a last resort. From elementary school to university, students of all ages come here to report to him.
再来，可以，这里试试看，屁股往后推，对，往后推。你要顾及到很多的地方，不管。
You have to take into account many things, whether it's their academics, family, or school, and even their financial situation. Everything we have to consider.
The feelings for his hometown are transformed into action.
We contacted the county government to see if there's a more suitable school that not only allow children to learn wrestling, but also whole body coordination.
He went to other physical education classes at other schools to give students a chance to experience the sport, also selected children suited to wrestling.
Although wrestling is not very popular, it is also an official event of the Asian Games, and it is one of the first Olympic sports.
Huang Junsheng once won 5 consecutive national championships and was an unstoppable force in the wrestling world.
Not everyone can turn pro, but I think that establishing good values and attitudes should be even more important in the future for these children.
He has come down to earth to become a coach and evaluate his career development. He knows that he can't just look at his results.
帮他们换的上下铺，我怕他们冷气吹头，对啊，其他的应该还好。班长，你睡哪个位置？
A group of youthful and rebellious big boys live together in this house.
我觉得就是一种。
I think it's a sense of mission. I often tell my wife that I don't want any more children to stay at our home after receiving this batch, and then they keep coming. And then after a day or two, I give up and let them keep coming.
继续啊，就这样。
While he may seem rough on the outside, he has a kind heart, as Huang Junsheng is not only a coach but also like a father and mother to these boys.
If I didn't practice wrestling, I would go back to work in the mountains and maybe come into contact with some bad things.
老师就是会把最好的都留给我们，就是有一个依靠。
Did I ask for any subsidies from the government? At present, no. We don't have to ask for money from others. We simply do what we want to do.
Assistant coach Zhuang Yingting also lived in Huang Junsheng's house when she was in junior high school.
The coach treats us like his own children.
At that time, the coach's 2 children were newborns, and she helped make formula for them and change their diapers and even watch them grow up all the way. These 2 children have now become her students.
I'm very touched, and I've seen them since childhood, and I pass along how to deal with things and face problems in life.
At the moment, there are still 10 students living in Huang Junsheng's home.
Now we are entering the 12th year. Yes, 12 years.
The strength and support he gives these children continues without fail.
教练，我爱你。强壮又帅气的。今年第5年。
想要继续住下去吗？
会吧。老师你辛苦了，谢谢。
Being able to accompany them and to grow up together, or to spend time with them, is more important than winning championships.
In Sanxia, 43-year Mr. Li did drugs when he was young and now suffers from severe disease. He lives in a small room filled with waste, and neighbors are afraid to come near him. A hospital call led city volunteers to clean up his home.
What defines a home? A bright living room, a comfortable bed, or a clean restroom? This is where 43-year-old Mr. Li lives. He lives in a space of 427 square feet, without water and electricity. The only thing he owns is the mess and loneliness.
When I came in, I thought it was a ruin and thought to myself, can someone really live here? And then there's somebody in here, and I was surprised.
Drug addiction since youth and suffering from severe disease, Mr. Li's life is like this house, hidden in the streets, displaying no energy. Around 50 volunteers made their way to Mr. Li's house through narrow alleys. Perhaps this is his first time seeing people enter.
很感动，很窝心。
At the end of last year, volunteers made a visit here, but lost contact for no reason. This year in October, Zhugong Hospital reported in with Mr. Lee's whereabouts. Upon hearing the news, volunteers set out to clean and renovate his house.
Mr. Lee doesn't have water, so when he needs to use the restroom, he has to bike far to use a restroom. We talked to his neighbors and agreed on subsidizing his water bills monthly. The neighbors are kind, so are the Tzu Chi brothers.
The water is now available in both the kitchen and bathroom. He no longer has to go elsewhere for water. I also organized the lights.
Connecting the water pipes to tap water and cleaning the waste one by one, volunteers see that the home after cleaning lacks furniture. Therefore, a second-handed bed was sent over, ensuring a good night's sleep for Mr. Lee, preparing him for the upcoming surgery.
On the 19th, we are taking him to the doctor. A surgery will be performed after the 19th. After that, we Tzu Chi volunteers will take him to do recycling.
He is no longer lonely living in this home. Here's the hope that he may live a better life.
City volunteers provide regular elderly care. The nursing aides and volunteers from Taipei City Hospital went to a nursing home in Banqiao to visit the seniors.
The familiar old song melodies call up the fond memories of the seniors when they were young. Everyone sings and claps joyfully.
When we first came, the elders were not so familiar with us, but through this kind of physical interaction, they swayed with us. They were so happy because they recalled the memories at their young age.
To care for the elders, the nursing aides and volunteers of the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital visited the elders at Banqiao Zhijie Nursing Home to play music and serve tea. The volunteers treated the elders like family members, making this elder deeply touched.
He might have some unhappiness or has done something wrong before. He might think of himself and his family. Maybe he may want to do something, yet he can't do it now, so he felt very sad. I told him to live happily every day.
Taiwan has entered an aging society. The proper care of the elder is not only a government policy, but private organizations are also very effective in training caregivers. Lin Zhongtai, who is a taxi driver, also joins the training of a nursing aide.
In fact, the elder has been working hard all his life. If he can pass his golden age happily or until his journey is over, I think it is the most satisfactory.
Taking good care of the elderly, volunteers didn't ask for any rewards. They only hope that the elderly will live long and healthy.
In Malaysia, a Tzu Chi care recipient is 90 years old. His son has to work and is unable to take care of him full-time. Tzu Chi volunteers head over to his house in the afternoon every day, helping him clean up, providing love and care.
Our volunteers notice that there's always the stench of urine on the senior. We came here every day at 4 in the afternoon to help wipe his body and clean his environment.
In the spacious old house, volunteers work together to clean up the surroundings. They also sanitize the household furniture. 2 male volunteers put on large plastic bags and head over to Chua Hock Chu, helping him to clean up and change into fresh new clothes.
The main issue is that we take care of his personal hygiene. He stays in the bed for long periods of time. His bed is damp, which causes him to have skin problems.
Chua Hock Chu is 90 years old already. His son is unable to stay by his side full-time due to work. Such volunteers took the initiative and helped lessen his burden.
We treat him as our own family member and take care of him. Just imagine if our parents are in his position right now, what are we going to do? So we really need to treat our family members better.
For seniors like him, they do not want any material goods anymore. All they want is someone to care for them and provide them with love.
Home visitations have been the work of Tzu Chi volunteers since the beginning. They accompany the senior, filling up his life with joy so that he won't feel lonely anymore.
In order to save space, volunteers have created a plastic lumber sorting table. The table is currently in Kaohsiung Xinxing Recycling Education Station. It can be used for recycling. It can also be broken down into 2 pieces for organization purposes.
Xinxing Retreat launched in February of 2020. It is not only a gathering point for the community. The parking lot behind the first floor, upon moving, is a recycling station. Newly arrived materials that contain bottles, cans, and glass are quickly sorted by volunteers. 2 truckloads of materials are done sorting within a day. And the car may also fit into the station. The bins also have wheels attached to it, allowing flexibility and movement inside the station. There is also this blue sorting table. It can be moved around any time, and when there is no more use, it can be teared into half to save space. The sorting table's predecessor was the one used 7-8 years ago.
The space is small, and when the recyclables are in large amounts, it's impossible to organize it. So everyone hoped that there's a sorting table to reduce walking and increase safety.
In order to overcome limited space and a surplus of supplies, Xinxing Recycling Station volunteers designed a sorting table. In 2019, when the station underwent renovation, the first and second floor became recycling stations. But the wooden sorting tables have decaying foundation and is in need of repair.
Initially, we thought of using aluminum or use purely wood. And because I saw DaAi Technologies plastic lumber at a Jingsa Hall, I asked several companies about plastic lumber, but they told me that it's not doable. Most of them are afraid of the wood creating an unflattened surface.
The plastic lumber was originally created for floor designs because it has waterproof and hard surface qualities. Therefore, it is perfect to use such material for a sorting table's foundation. But vendors and carpenters rejected this idea due to a lack of understanding on plastic lumber. After a long search, Wu Zhongwen found a Tzu Chi volunteer in Nanzi District named Kang Yingli.
This is made of plastic, and it's waterproof. It's also hard and good against grease. Therefore, it's good material.
As a professional carpenter, Kang Yingli is a perfectionist. He had to spend extra time planning for the plastic lumber used.
There's a notch here, and I must use a board to set it in place, so that both sides may merge. There's a lot of challenges to overcome.
Working hard and with passion, Kang Yingli seizes the opportunity to invite citizens into the station, doing good deeds.
With the heart of gratefulness and with the chance to give, I told this to a Tzu Chi donating member, and he told me that he's covering all the material fees.
2 sorting tables, with the usage of almost a year, still appears to be new.
Before we did recycling on the ground, it was tough and we relocated to different locations. Now we are at a 5-star hotel. The person who designed this is very amazing.
The seemingly simple sorting table is the collection of wisdom and care of volunteers. The table also became the best companion to volunteers on the mission to protect our environment.
In central Taiwan, 2,000 people participate in the sutra adaptation at city's year-end blessing ceremony. The youngest participant is only 7 years old. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.